Welcome to another exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy. Today we're going to talk about something that is going to be more and more important to me as time goes on, but it's also going to be very, very important to you. And that is the need to have a schedule. Now, currently, I've got the day job. It's for 70 weeks, 3 days, but who's counting? But then I'm going to be retired and out into the big bad world where I will be focusing on my reselling business a lot more. I happen to have today off of work because I've got some doctor's appointments and I'm shooting this video. And today is more readily apparent than ever the need to have a schedule. And the reason why is I got up this morning, as I always do, a little bit before 3 o'clock in the morning, and I started doing the work that I needed to do, but I knew I had some time this morning as well. Guess what? I was about 15 to 20 minutes behind schedule. Usually I have an item listed, everything all done that I need to do by just a little after 6. It was about 6:20 before I reached that point this morning. Now, in my defense, I did sell a number of things on Whatnot yesterday, a couple of which required a little bit more packing than usual. And I also had a situation with one of the old plastic shelves down in the basement was starting to topple over. I had to take stuff off and rebuild that. Long story short, I ended up fixing that problem as well. And perhaps it was the luxury of having some time off this morning that allowed me to do that. Otherwise, what I might have done in a typical day is said, oh, I got to get to that this weekend, and walked by it a couple of times as opposed to, oh, I better take care of that now before it falls over. But you end up wasting a lot of time. You just do. You absolutely do. I know the auction professor says that what you need to do is sit down and make basically a time journal. I've not done that, but I can see where the time goes. You're sitting there and you're listing and an email comes in. You say, oh, an email came in. You check over to see what it was. Another email comes in and it's an offer. You accept the offer. Then they pay for it. Then you find the item and you pack it up. Well, these are all things that are taking you away from whatever the task was that you were doing in the first place. So the number one hint that I can give you, tip that I can give you, and thing that I definitely will be doing after I'm retired is batch your things out. Whatever it happens to be, set up a schedule for yourself where you say, look, first thing in the morning I get up, I find and pack. Then I do not find and pack again until noon. Maybe you sit there and you say, okay, I'm going to accept offers, answer emails, and send offers out at 10 o'clock in the morning. Stick to it. Do that. If an offer comes in the meantime, let it sit. Because again, every time that you go over and you do a task that's outside of what you're doing currently, you're wasting a fair amount of time. And it doesn't seem like a lot. You go, oh, I just checked one email. It only took 10 seconds. Except it doesn't always just take 10 seconds, number one. And number two, 10 seconds here, 20 seconds here, 10 seconds here. Suddenly you start adding up into minutes and minutes and minutes, and minutes become half hour, that sort of thing. So it's very, very easy to lose track of time and lose a fair amount of time. Even in things like when you're sitting there and doing research, I'm certainly guilty of going down a lot of rabbit holes with my research. Oh, I wonder what this is. Oh, I wonder what that is. And I end up getting pleasure out of reading the things that I read, which is positive, but in no way is most of what I'm reading going to ever help me in the business, which of course is a negative. Currently I do have the day job, so it's not imperative. I'm putting in the hours that I need to put over there and putting in the hours here on the side, so it's I guess I can kind of rationalize in my head a little bit of time loss and time waste is okay because it's kind of rest time. If I pick up my phone to read a story and I end up reading 3 stories, not the end of the world as far as that goes because I work so many hours. That being said, when I retire and I'm relying on this money more, then I'm going to have myself a problem. Even with the various side things that I've got going on, things like the Whatnot. I've got to sit there and I've got to put together the auction. I'm going to have to find time over the next few days to do that, and I have to stay focused on doing that and not get distracted while I'm doing that. if you do have side things like that, if you're listing stuff on Amazon and eBay, things like that, as you're sorting through, say, okay, I'm going to be listing on eBay right now. If you sort through and you see something that's perfect for Amazon, just take it and throw it off to the side on an Amazon pile. That sort of thing I find helps me a lot as well. I've got a little pile of stuff that I list on Etsy, a little pile of stuff that goes better on Amazon, that goes better on million-dollar-peddlers over on eBay. And if I come across something, I just put it on the side. The next day I pick it up and I list it on the site that I was going to be listing it on anyway. But again, if you can kind of do that all within the course of working, it will help you so much. Because again, I definitely am noticing when I don't have a set schedule, in other words, I've got a routine for the day job and I kind of work around that and I get done everything that I have to get done. When you don't have the parameters fully defined as they are with the day job, then all of a sudden the day kind of bleeds all into itself and you end up wasting a fair amount of time. So sit down and make yourself a schedule. Whatever it happens to be, find it this time, list it this time, source it this time. My thought, just because of the way that sourcing works, would be I would sit down at the beginning of the week, and I'm planning on doing this when I do retire in 70 weeks, 3 days, but who's counting? I plan on sitting down and scheduling out the entire week. Why, you ask? I heard you. The main reason why is because every week is a little bit different. I don't want to get into, oh, I'm going to source on Thursdays and Saturdays, because what if a really good estate sale starts on Friday and there's nothing good on Thursday? What am I going to do during Thanksgiving week? I'm probably not going to be doing a lot of sourcing on that Thursday, and so on. So if you sit there and you tell yourself, look, generally speaking, I've got 2 days of sourcing. During the summertime, Sundays would be a sourcing day for me because that's a big flea market day up this way. So I would have Sunday, and then I would pick the best estate sale or best book sale or best whatever sale that I could go to. One exception to this, of course, which you also have to keep in mind, don't stick to that necessarily 100%. And by that I mean I'm going to have Sundays as a flea market day. I wake up Sunday morning and it's a monsoon outside. I'm not going to go to the flea market because there wouldn't be anybody there. Similarly, a different week, there are 3 days of really, really good estate sales. I'm not going to miss out on an incredible, potentially incredible estate sale because it doesn't fit into the schedule. Oh, I only allocated myself 2 days. So you have to be willing to go on the fly. And another example of changing that would be, Thursday I've got a doctor's appointment. I'm set to go to a doctor's appointment. It's not a sourcing day, but I look and there's an okay estate sale just down the street. Of course you go. I mean, it doesn't fit into your normal schedule, but it's not exactly like I can bring stuff to the doctor's office and, when he asks what I'm doing, I say, well, I always list between 12 and 2, so please forgive these magazines here in your waiting room, and can I grab a couple of those that you have? I might list these. I'm going to check them up on Terapeak. Obviously, you do have to have some flexibility, which is one of the advantages of having your own business. That being said, you definitely need to have the skeleton of a schedule, and you need to stick to it as best as you're able to do so, allowing for, again, emergencies, allowing for. But don't allow yourself to get distracted, and do stay on schedule as much as you're able to do so. And I speak from experience. It's just amazing today how little I've actually done before I have to go to the doctor shortly. I did not get done nearly everything that I was hoping to get done because the day kind of bled into itself, and I ended up sorting some stuff out that I had bought that I wasn't intending to do. Granted, it needed to be done at some point. However, it wasn't the best use of time. Every now and then that's okay, especially my having the day job. But if all of a sudden I fall into those traps when I'm retired, I'm going to have some serious problems. So hopefully that helps you some. Do note down below how you stay on schedule, if you even follow a schedule. And again, you do have to have some flexibility. You can't be, it is not a 9 to 5. And that's the blessing, but also the curse of it. It is not a 9 to 5. So hit the like button. We can all schedule time for that. And I will see you next video.